Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 13 already. And here are your amazing hosts,
Vladi Kuna and
Norman Gräter. And today we want to touch a topic that you're all aware of. And I came along the idea when I heard a quote by Napoleon Bonaparte, and it basically said, it's not the amount of troops that you have, it's about the troops that you employ towards the front line. And this quote actually triggered me within, where I thought, yes, how much knowledge do I have within, like the troops I have, the books, the seminars, the study groups, the mentorship, the masterminds, everything we do on a almost daily basis. Still, the question is, how many of the troops of the knowledge that I have do I deploy towards the front line? Which means how many tools, how many ideas, how many intuitions I get, I really deploy and start doing it. So today we want to speak about the knowing and doing, or even knowing being gap, which would be the next level. And I know that Vladi just found something in a beautiful book she has in front of her, and let's kick into today's topic.
I love that quote, and I don't think I've ever heard it before. And it brought me, when Norman said it brought me to Napoleon Hill and his fourth step to riches, which is a specialized knowledge. And, he said there are two kinds of knowledge. I'll just read a couple of sentences. There are two kinds of knowledge. One in general, the other is specialized. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety it may be, it is still but little use in the accumulating of money. The faculty of great universities possesses in the aggregate practically every form of general knowledge known to civilization. Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. Knowledge is the only potential power. And I love, because so many people, all of us would love to be wealthier, happier, and just genuinely, obviously money gives you freedom. It does give you freedom to a certain extent. So it's not about the money as such, but I'm mentioning money because that's usually on people's mind. And all the knowledge in the world you can have, are you using it? It's like you have power within you to light up the whole city. Are you actually channeling and directing the powers you have within so you can live the life you would love? And it comes to self-help and shelf-help. Came to me, it's our favorite subject with Norman, because when we've been studying for over 5 years, but we have books and we order books. And I remember, especially the beginnings, you decide to be in a personal development, run inside, start reading the book, and now everybody's talking about difference, so you're starting purchasing. And I remember Amazon coming in, Peter going, my husband
On a
going,
daily
what?
basis, and it's all shelf development.
Shelf help, you filling the shelves, and like you feeling so proud because, okay, I have a collection. And anyone in the personal development field mentions a book I don't have, straight Amazon delivery. And I'm sure you can guys relate, where even your partner's going, can you stop purchasing the books? There is the delivery every day. But I'm laughing about it. But the thing is, it's true. You fill the shelf. How much you're using it? Because there are real masters. Take one book, which they study every day. I'm not saying that they don't read other books, but they focus, what is the book that is calling you? What is the knowledge, like you all know? It's not what people out there are talking about. It's the topic that, like Norman, when he just said the quote, it's the topic that really changes your vibration. You hear something and you're like, oh, your whole body and mind fires up, and there is a reason for it. That is the topic where you need to dig in. You need to find out more information about and learn it, because that is who you're being. As Norman said, doing, knowing gap, but it's who you being, who you becoming in the process. Is it really, are you just floating by with no direction like a ship and just plodding along? But really, it's the direction which is important. How are you directing your energy and directing your power and directing your knowledge and everything you read?
It's true. I'm just reminded of a Bruce Lee quote where he said, basically, I'm not afraid of the student that practices 1,000 moves every day, but I'm very scared of the person that practices one move and the
Love
same
it.
move every day. It's just what you shared, Vladi. I totally agree. And I also remembered my former boss, Professor Worth, and he's basically by now, I think, the seventh richest person in Germany. And he once said about the quote that you also mentioned in Napoleon Hill's book. We have it with Napoleons today. He said, knowledge is power is total bogus because if you don't use the knowledge, knowledge is not power. And that's why we want to address it today. Are you using this one thing, this one tool, and you practice and practice and practice and practice until you kind of master it? If you go with the saying that you need 10,000 hours to be a master, I'm not saying that you need to practice it 10,000 hours, but usually, like Vladi shared, we shelf develop ourselves. We buy all the books, we buy all the programs, we watch the free webinars, there's free stuff all over the place. And we just not all the time say, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, I should do that. I should do that. You should all over the place. But the thing is, when do you start walking and taking it in your hand and moving towards your goal? Which brings us to the key question of today. What is your goal and what would help you to get there? Because Anke sent me a clip from Tony Robbins this morning where he spoke about focus. And he said, life is not bad. Life is bad if you focus on the bad. So it's not about life in general. Life just is. It's about what do you put your focus on. So in regards and relation to your goal, what would be one thing, probably a tiny thing as of today, where you think, I don't, no, if I just do one push-up every day, I don't become Mr. Universe. Probably you don't become Mr. or Mrs. Universe, but it could lead to the point where you get fit, because at one point you might do 2 push-ups and maybe at 1.5 and then 10. So the question is, why do you rush? Why do you need it now? Why do you need to be a professional bodybuilder or whatever you want to be now? Why not take time? You have all the time in the world. And even if you say, oh, I'm 95, you can still have 30 years to live. Yeah, but that's not going according to the rules and the statistics. Don't care about the statistics. It's about what do you want and what's your next step towards your goal. The tiny little thing you practice every day and you bring it from the knowing into the doing place.
I love what you said, because really think about these guys. It comes down to competition. The reason we don't stay with one thing for many things, it's a fear of loss, partly as well, because we're almost, do you know what came to my mind, Norman, was when you said that I thought people are fearful to live a small life. Obviously, we have to dream big, and we're always encouraging ourselves and our kids and you guys, everyone, dream big. Like having a huge dream and a vision is really important. But the trick in living a happy life is actually putting the focus onto the small moments. Collection of we rush through life and we don't stop, pause, and appreciate the little amazing moments, whereas collection of this is actually the big thing. But if you're missing all these little things, like a little joy of a cup of coffee and running to like whatever it is you're doing throughout the day, but it really comes down to we do live in a rush world. And especially, I'm in the UK, and I know every time my parents come in, my mom says the minute I step foot on the ground in the UK, you feel like everybody's like, nobody's paying attention to each other. Everything's super fast and people are just running everywhere and not even looking at each other. And, like the rush energy. And it is the competition. If you are focusing on striving, it's the healthy striving is being happy with yourself, like being proud of yourself, praise yourself what you have done today. And don't compare yourself with anybody else, because really this is where we lose power. And I know that we're talking about knowledge and the action. Action is really crucial. But enjoy the action you take. If you make a decision to do something, have fun shopping, have fun cooking, have fun, whatever it is you're doing. Studying, enjoy one thing, because I know that Norman just pointed out that we almost have a checklist. And so I've done my gratitude journal, I've done my this, and I'm doing this. So we almost say, oh, I'm a great student, but we're not even present in those things we do. If you're not present in those moments and finding joy in it, you already lost it. And but don't feel bad about yourself. Like, never feel bad. Always go like, okay, this is not working. How can I allow yourself to be a human being? I think that's the sentence I want to say. Allow yourself to fail and say, oh, I need to find a new way to do this. Don't compare yourself with, oh, I'm going to give you an example. My friend said to me, oh my goodness, like, I watch you, and when do you have time to do all the things you do? And it's funny because I sit here thinking, oh my God, I could get better. Like, I don't think I'm doing enough. So it's a perception of every single person that will be different. And we always see ourselves from more judgmental point of view than others actually admire us for what we do. Then we taking action, and the knowing doing gap and the being gap, you actually feel by making a decision to allow yourself to be a human and just grow every day. Stop comparing yourself to, you're not better or worse than anyone else. Just focus on, what can I do today to be better than I was yesterday? The only comparison and competition you should have is you versus you. No one else. Just and focus, like Norman is really right. I love the subject on focus, because really what you focus on manifests. The thoughts are always solid. Whatever we think and mix with emotions, we have it. And I was talking on the way to school this morning, which is funny. We were listening to a recording by Louise Hay with my daughter, the Good Morning one. And then she said, whatever you think, you will manifest. But it doesn't care what you give it. You manifest whatever you think of. So if it's good or bad, you still manifest it. And Elizabeth was asking about something. I said, it's like a genie. You say, well, I'm not really good at this. And the genie says, your wish is my command. And then you say, I'm amazing at this. The genie, again, doesn't care. It says, your wish is my command. So imagine this genie behind you going, oh my God, it's raining. Today is just miserable. Yep, your wish is my command. Everything you give out there in your thinking and feeling gets back to you multiplied.
It does,
Oh,
big time, big time. And while you were talking and I was listening, I remembered a quote that Abraham Hicks, like Esther Hicks, sent out the other day. And I did not find it on my phone, but I found it on my laptop. And it matches beautiful what you just shared, Vladi. People will sell, well, I have to work on my goals, or I have to work on my visualization. And we want you to think about holding the vision because it is pleasurable to hold the vision, not because you're trying to make the vision work in order to get to some place that you're not now standing. How much should I work? We would say work in the sense of joyfully moving forward. And this is just a beautiful combination of many things that you just shared. Can you enjoy the way? Can you say it's fun doing the thing right now, being in the moment right now, having maybe only one book right now? And you might say, I would love to do this huge program for $10,000, but I don't have the money. How about you study the one thing that you have, the free podcast, the free book, the free ebook, the webinar, whatever it is, and you watch it over and over again. And very often your mind says, yes, but I already watched it. I already read it. The moment I read the book 3 times, I realized in the third turn that sometimes I had the feeling that I never read this part that I was reading in this very second before. It was not there. Of course it was there. It was there all the time. The difference is that I developed, that I started thinking different. And this means that even if I look at the same information, they will be presented in a different way because I think about the stuff in a different way. And other thoughts coming up, other intuitions hitting me. So you could stay with the same book for 80 years and read the same book and always find new meanings, new explanations. And therefore, it's not necessary to get everything. And like Vladi shared, it's about the competition. It's about, oh, this person did this and the other person did that. And if I don't do it, what do they think about me? It doesn't matter what they think about you. The only question is, what do you think about yourself? Like Vladi just shared, with the genie behind you. What you think about yourself will be picked up by the genie, and he will say, your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. So whatever you think about yourself deep in your heart, the opinion you have about yourself, the thoughts you have, the beliefs, can you do it or can't you do it? The genie has to follow through. So whenever people say, I don't buy into this law of attraction thing, this is bogus and woo-woo stuff and hocus pocus, it's not that the law of attraction is only for good things. The law of attraction works for everything. It's neutral. So if you think you're dumb, you're poor, you're unworthy, then your genie will say, your wish is my command, and I will present you many possibilities in the world around you through other people and occasions that you will realize that you're totally right. So it's not the law of attraction, it's not God, it's not the universe whose fault it is. It's your own self-image that you have about yourself. And this is something you should work on every day a little more. Can you believe a little bit more about yourself and in yourself? What can you do today? The one little thing where you say, I treat myself nicer. I wear my most beautiful shoes. I drink out of my favorite cup. I do something that I really like, that pushes my self-esteem forward. This would be a very good goal to start with. If you say, no, I don't really have a goal, what should I do? Use appreciation that Vladi already shared. Can you be grateful for the things you have in this very moment? Or at least work on something that's related to you and your opinion about yourself.
I love that. Maybe that's a topic we can talk next time about self-talk and auto-suggestion, because really that is what are the stories we tell ourselves. Like really pause and tell yourself, what is the story I tell myself about me, about how I look, about my knowledge, who I am. Because really it's until you choose that you are going to be the person you desire to be, nothing happens. It's just a wishful thinking. And wishful thinking gets us nowhere. It has to be a decision. And I might give you a little tip for focus, because we are talking about how we need to focus on the right things. Are you using the stuff you have? Because also I think we live in a world where they always making us to buy more. And people go I'm not going to say people go, I'm going to put my hand up and say we just pay so much time and attention to things we don't really need. It's this rush energy. You have to buy the next model, and you have to buy the new version, and you have to buy this better because this is already old. How old? 2 years? Like I have a phone and I had to buy a new one, and my old one was just 2 years. Like it's not really old, but the battery wouldn't come up. Like it actually they create stuff that actually they make you buy new stuff every so often. But where is the focus, and how can I utilize what I have and create something out of that? What can I do from where I am with what I've got right now and move forward? And that is actually the whole subject we're talking to you today. Because then when you make those decisions, you're really present. You pay attention to people around you. Who's around you? Like Norman talked about the troops. But when you go back to his quote, it's about people, it's about knowledge, it's about money, it's about love, it's about health, it's actually everything. You can fit any kind of subject into the same quote. What is the best thing you've got in each area of your life, and are you using it well? Because I love the quote which says, feeling a gratitude and not expressing it is the same as buying a present and not giving it. And when you think about that, I can think well about 5 people, be really grateful and buy them presents, but then keep them home in my home. I'm not obviously it's not just about buying the presents, but it's about expressing it. How often do you text people you know that they really appreciate for something? They don't have to do anything for me today, but you just know that actually with them, your life wouldn't be the happy life you have. Like, who are the people who are always creating a smile on your face? Who are the people who always cheer you up when you feel down, or when you can text them and say, look, I really need to meet you for a coffee or something? Who are the people who are there for you when you really need them? Because that is the part where we need as a humans to be supporting each other. And really choose, like Norman said, choose the you deploy. What are you deploying? Who are the people who are really there for you? Because everybody is talking about how like supportive they are, but when it comes to something, who are the people who stand for you? And that was something I started with, like, and it's not selfish, like first time when I've heard it, I thought, oh, am I excluding someone? But it's not that, guys. It's about really look in your life and look at the stuff you have and how well or unwell you're using it, because really it is the focus. And actually the tip I wanted to give you on focus, and I'm going to finish with that's my final actually for this episode, my advice would be, I do this with the kids, not daily. I used to do it daily, but I love the candle. I put the flame on and I press the timer on my phone for 5 minutes. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to start maybe with 3 minutes. If it's a child, don't go over 60 minutes or 30 seconds. Like Norman made a very good point at the beginning. Don't do things we want to build a habit. Don't go straight to half an hour of exercising and stuff, because then it clashes. Do a little bit, but make sure it's consistent, because it's the consistency is the key. So you're doing it every single day. And watch the flame for kids, 30 seconds, but it has to be every day. Print them a little thing where they have to do a tick for every day of the month that they've actually sat down and watch the flame for 30 seconds. If they can complete it in 30 days, reward them for something. Do the same for yourself. If you start with a minute, that's enough, and then build it up, but really stick with it. It really allows you to refocus to that moment and be present, and you will be applying this more into everything you do.
And while you light a candle now and do this right now, because it's about the doing, not just this sounds smart, I could do that. Yeah, you could, but you also should or would. How about you just do it without any word up front? I just do it. When? Now, because you only have now. There's always only now. So if you say I do it tomorrow, there's no tomorrow. When tomorrow hits, it's now again. So how about now is a good time? And if you're driving, drive home before you light the car on fire. Do whatever you have to get to a safe place, find a candle, light it, watch into the light or look at into the light for 30 seconds and do your very best to think about nothing. Get one with the light and the candle and the flame itself. It's not about that you think about your day looking into the candle. It's about, can I empty my mind as good as possible and extend it to 40 seconds to 60 seconds and see where it leads you. And don't do it for the candle, and don't do it because we told you. Do it because you say, that's a smart thing to empty my mind, to be more with myself and be more connected to my higher self. I will do that for me and not for anybody else. And how you can proceed into boosting your self-esteem and all those beautiful things, we will talk more in episode 14 of the Faith Building Podcast. And until then, have a wonderful time. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.